Story moving closer to a confrontation. The Obama administration is making its case to Congress that our country should take military action against Syria. The White House maintains that Syrian forces killed hundreds of civilians using toxic chemicals last week. The administration also alleges that Syrian President Bashar Assad was behind the massacre. Now, if the U.S. does take action, it might have to do so without the help of British allies. Prime Minister David Cameron says that his country is waiting for the UN's report with evidence of an actual chemical assault. And closer to home, we learned that there is a great deal at stake should the U.S. attack Syria. Matt Markham has more now on that live in our top story. Matt?
Good evening, Dory. A local woman familiar with Middle Eastern politics encourages the U.S. to use caution in deciding whether or not to strike Syria, because an attack, she says, against one country could include a response from more than one.
The list starts with Russia and China.
The list includes the countries who may wish to retaliate against the United States if it launches an attack on Syria. Michele Angrist is a political science professor at Union College, specializing in Middle Eastern politics. She says our relationships with those two countries could be strained. Then there's Iran.
The Iranians have threatened that there would be consequence. Iranian naval vessels can cause trouble in the Persian Gulf and complicate the movement of oil out of the region into the global market.
Angrist also fears U.S. intervention can also encourage Hezbollah to attack Israel. But she believes any attack would likely happen overseas.
I don't think Iranian fallout would happen on U.S. soil. The much more likely scenario would be regional destabilization.
U.S. officials or interests in the region then could be at risk. But this is a volatile time in the Middle East. Countless innocent lives have been caught in Syria's conflict, including those killed in a suspected chemical attack. The U.S. should be cautious, Angrist suggests, and recalls a thought shared by those familiar with the culture and politics in the Middle East.
Their argument is, you don't know what kind of uncertainty, what kind of, Pandora's box you may be opening by launching cruise missiles into a very destabilized region.
A fifth U.S. destroyer ship is headed to the Mediterranean Sea right now. Still, Angirst has noticed the pace is slowing in talks to attack Syria. Analysts initially believed some action might be taken today. Dory?
Matt, so many different factors at play here, but again, safe to say that the #1 reason for possibly attacking Syria would be the use of chemical weapons.
It is, and right now opponents of any intervention say the United Nations must determine if chemical weapons were indeed used against innocent people. If they were, the government will make the case that international norms were violated and say that that kind of behavior cannot be tolerated, causing a reason to give an attack, Dory.
All right, Matt Markham reporting live for us. Thank you, Matt.